Hello and welcome to World Talks on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. Today we are very honoured to welcome His Excellency Ambassador Akio Miyajima, former Japanese ambassador to Poland, to discuss the possible outcomes of Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski's talks in Japan. These high-level meetings are expected to cover economic cooperation, strategic projects and geopolitical issues, including support for Ukraine. Japan acknowledges the wider geopolitical impact of the Ukrainian war on East Asia. What do these talks mean for global security, and how might Poland and Japan deepen their collaboration? Well, let's explore these questions with the ambassador. Your Excellency, welcome to TVP World, and thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Great.
It's a pleasure, sir. Now, Poland and Japan have many compatible values and perspectives on the global order, but they've never really become allies. Do you think this is the opportunity for the two countries to become allied?
Well, absolutely true that if it is not in a strict sense in security alliance, but we have I think Japan is the strongest ally in Asia, and then Poland is the strongest ally in Europe. So by strategic partner which was agreed 10 years ago, we have been steadily strengthening our partnership, and now that we have a common challenge called Ukraine, and also in our region, maybe growing militaristic activities by China. So, well,
understood.
Maybe it's time.
Understood, Mr. Ambassador. Now, there's a short soundbite of Mr. Sikorski that I wish to share, and then I'd like your view on that.
We should stay the course, strengthen our military capabilities by spending more, thereby reassure Washington that burdens are shared equally, fairly, and stay the course also in our support for Ukraine, so that Russia doesn't benefit from its aggression. Japan is not only our trade partner, but also a big investor in Poland, employing tens of thousands of highly skilled Polish workers. We are open for business. Our prosperity is now comparable on a purchasing power parity. What Lech Wałęsa dreamt of all those years ago has now become a reality. We have built in Poland a second Japan.
So, Mr. Ambassador, he referred to both trade as well as the situation in Ukraine. Could you lay out for our audience, please, Japan's perspectives on the Russian invasion of Ukraine?
Well, Japan from the beginning is a strong supporter for the Ukraine, and because this is a blatant violation of international law, we cannot accept this the total breach of the UN Charter, and we firmly believe that free and open rule-based international order. We cannot allow the change of the status quo by force, by permanent member of the United Nations and nuclear power. So from the beginning, Japan has been steadfast in supporting Ukrainians and also the other like-minded countries like Poland, and remain so. That's why that we voted together at the United Nations General Assembly resolution, and also we participated at the G7 summit and expressed by the Prime Minister in the same spirit. So Mr. Sikorski's visit was very timely and also very reassuring, and I think that as a like-minded country with shared value, we are going to continue to work together.
Understood. Now, on the same topic, we see President Trump, pushing for peace and some kind of security in Ukraine, and part of that process has involved reaching out to President Vladimir Putin. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we have been watching very closely what the U.S. administration, especially Mr. Trump, is trying to achieve. we really wish that this will bring about just and sustainable peace. And then many people want to see this war to end as soon as possible. But again, that our Prime Minister said that nobody should learn wrong lessons from this war. So, well, we are watching very closely, but we are in very close contact with the United States. Our leader, Mr. Ishiba, made a very good visit to Washington, and then we will continue to do so.
Understood. So thank you for that. Now, of course, there's another major player that's in the picture, and that is China, and we're aware of China's geopolitical ambitions and the dynamics. And you know, Xi Jinping is watching very carefully what happens in Ukraine. Now, clearly, this is again another area where there is a common platform between Poland and Japan. How do you see the two countries working together with respect to a response to China?
Well, everybody knows that Russia and China agreed on limitless friendship just 3 years ago. That when Mr. Putin attended the Beijing summit. Beijing Olympics. And we have seen that China as an enabler for Russia to keep fighting. And also in our region, we have been also watching China very, very closely. Although China is a challenge, at the same time opportunity. And then we do want the stable, rule-based order in our region. But these days we see that the security in Europe, security in Asia, is so closely intertwined. So, well, we are watching China very closely. China is also watching the situation very closely. We know that. And then so that, again, that the long lesson should not be learned by anybody.
Understood. Now, moving on to economic cooperation between Poland, Europe generally, and Japan. Now, President Trump has imposed a number of tariffs on imports to the United States, and some of these are being negotiated, for example, with Prime Minister Starmer of the United Kingdom. Do you see this as an opportunity for, again, European countries and Poland in particular, to increase their trade with Japan?
Well, I don't know. It is just because of Mr. Trump's approach of this trade issue or the economic issue. But as an ambassador, I have kept advocating Japanese investors to come over to Poland and then look for new opportunities. Infrastructure, transport, energy. I think there's a lot of opportunities for Japanese investors to come and then try to explore. At the same time, that the Polish investors also that they should come to Japan. This year in April, for 6 months, we are going to hold a World Expo in Osaka. So I feel very optimistic. There will be a greater chance for us to develop not only security, but also the business partnership.
Understood.
Our biggest trade association, Keidan, then visited Poland first time in 10 years. And then I met those leaders of the business community. They are very encouraged. So they are really looking to something many more concrete things. And then if somehow some stability in Ukraine comes, of course, reconstruction is another opportunity for Poland and Japan to work together.
Yes, well, of course, that will be necessary at some stage, the reconstruction of Ukraine. Now, you mentioned energy, and of course, Japan is a leading light in the field of nuclear energy, and in terms of its experience. And since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, we've seen some major questions around the provision of consistent energy supplies. Do you see some potential for Japan to contribute or to work with European countries to share some of the know-how on the nuclear energy front.
Absolutely. That is a very important point. Everybody knows that Japan experienced terrible experience in Fukushima. We really made our nuclear safety standard highest level in the world. And then we have resumed the nuclear power plant one by one. And then the Japanese companies, which has the experience of operating safely and also the building the new facilities, are now eagerly and looking to the opportunities, working closely with European companies and also American companies. So they are very active now.
Understood. Now, you mentioned security and safety of nuclear plants, and we know that some countries in Europe have actually started closing down or have closed down most, if not all, of their nuclear facilities. What would you say to those countries to encourage them to reopen or to open new ones?
Of course, it's really up to their own decisions. But I think Japan, after that experience a terrible Fukushima incident, try to live in the world of the decarbonization world. So that Japan has decided to open up start the nuclear reactors one by one, as long as it's to fit the safety standard. So that's why I think that is good. Clean energy, base load energy supplies sources. So small scale module nuclear reactor is another area we are looking into. So I really do hope Poland could be a wonderful field to work together on the nuclear area. So this is for the future.
Understood. So nuclear energy should be back on the table with some certainty of safety or improved chances of safety. Excellent. What other areas do you believe are possible in terms of trade cooperation between Poland and Japan?
So energy is one area we are looking into that further. And also that the IT industry, we know that there will be many talented IT specialists in Poland. Maybe they may be able to work remotely for the Japanese companies, or also that maybe that in the headquarters, those back offices in Poland. Another area is transportation. Railway is another area where Japan has the world's highest standard. We are very proud of that. So that now that we know that Poland is trying to expand and modernize the railway system. So that is another area we can cooperate.
So lots of areas for discussion and cooperation. Ambassador Miyajima, thank you very much indeed for sharing your time and your insights with our audience. Have a good day, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And that's all from us in this episode of World Talks. Goodbye.